Hello, welcome here on Uganda Crossroads. My name is David Lubuurwa. We always come here and discuss every Saturday, 1 p.m. here in the United States. And if you're watching us from other parts of the world, we always thank you so much for being part of the show. Today, like any other day, we only focus basically on politics of the country, Uganda. Many people are asking questions. Where is Uganda heading to based on the current situation from all political parties and the decisions made by their leaders? Today, we're going to look at how NUP is standing, its fate, whether it's going to be successful in come 2021, or if you look at the lawsuits against it, are going to be helping it achieve its goal. Today, again, we also look at other key factors that are happening in the country. We've seen Border 2010 leader, Abdul Shatta, was released. And then other musicians are choosing other musicians on how and why they're not helping each other. You know, you've heard about the story of Eddie Kenzo against Bobby Wine. And of course, Bobby Wine is camp against Eddie Kenzo. That is, it's kind of like a minor discussion for us to look into, but it's very important because of the political climate in the country today. So let's get started. I'm in the studio with Richard Myombya. I'm with Noldin Katelega and aspirant member of parliament for Kalaki County, Dennis Eriao. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been a long time since Dennis, you and I met. We were still in our previous studio. Now we're in a new building and everything. So guys, I want to thank you so much. Again, immediately we started the show, I received a question that where are the ladies? We were supposed again to have our friend, our comrade here, panelist Sarah Joy, but again, something came up. So she won't be able to join us today, but she'll be live again today. We anticipate that she'll be discussing with us. Let's hope for the best. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I'm not going to ask you independently today how your week was, but I think you've been seeing things that are going on in the country. But let me be fair. Let's get a word from each of you guys. Let me start with Richard next to me. Richard, was your week interesting?
No, my week was not interesting. I was very sad. Bobby Wine, the way he has come all the way, and these people are blocking his political ambitions of becoming a presidential bearer to take the leadership of a country and liberate it from the dictatorship that has oppressed so many people. I was so sad. Every time there's a lawsuit, first of all, there was a color, and UPC denied it. Then after that, there's this, that the leadership change was illegal. And every time, now today in Mbale, they stopped him. And let's see, but I think what we need today in Uganda is a prayer of good weather. Like there was a friend of mine, a very famous general from here in Massachusetts, General Patton. In a situation like this, he made a prayer of good faith and things work. I think that's what we need.
All right, sure. Richard, I want to thank you so much. Nudin, let me come straight to you. Last week, the other week, you told me everything was kind of 50-50, very interesting. This week?
I'm still enjoying the dynamics of politics, and actually there are a lot of things that are coming up, unveiling that we're predicting, and they are coming up now. So, but I think that's a normal trend of politics. There is not much different from what people are expecting, and many more other things are being waited for. So there are a lot of things that we anticipate it to happen, and things are gonna go that way until to 2020 elections.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Dennis, I think I have a lot of questions for you. You've been in Uganda recently, and I'm glad you're back safely in the United States. But how was it the time you spent in Uganda the last couple of months during quarantine time? Many people are arrested, beaten. How was it for you? Give me that life experience that you had when you were still there.
Thank you so much, David, for welcoming me back. I'm happy I'm here with you guys. Everything is all good. The country back home, things are quite tough. People are getting new homes. Political parties are registering individuals from all angles. People want to belong, but where do you belong? How do you belong, and for what purpose? So this makes it so interesting in that people are crisscrossing even when they are not supposed to do so. So it gives us a big plight of looking forward to see whether unity could be the factor than children trying to get different homes to belong. So it's a very good progress for me. I see hope. I see people trying to look into the future by finding new homes. Thereafter, you can unite with the clan and make a move.
All right,
Yes.
sure. Dennis, I want to thank you so much. Well, you've given me at least a slight picture of what's going on, but I'll come back. No problem. So let's look into the key issues that are happening now. People Power Organization, under now the new umbrella of National Unity Platform, it seems like the platform is under a state of quagmire. Like every day there is a new problem developing. First time we heard that there was the issue of colors, then that was in one way or the other dissolved. Then today, something came up, and this time it was a little bit more serious, a lawsuit by the founders of the organization. Yes, we've had information lately, actually today, that some of the members who are claiming are not part of the organization. But I want to, let me start straight away from Dennis, who has been on the ground. When you look at the fate of NUP, where do you see it? When you look at how the things that are going on in the country?
You see, if let's say this is village A, and there are so many kids in that village, and there is one that is still crawling, or one that just started to learn how to crawl, and now wants to start walking. These ones that are already walking will make sure that one faces a difficult challenge in trying to walk. So NUP is a young child, as I can say, and there are so many other political parties that have been in existence, like my party, the FDC. So there could be a bullying, even if it is not coming from FDC, but there are other parties that would be able to bully NUP, unlike how you're seeing it. The NRM is working so hard that the NUP does not even start to walk. You know, they thought Bobby Wine could not belong to a party because they had already put in mechanisms to make sure that if you are not under a party, you are not liable to contest for presidency. So they had tried to lock him out. But then all of a sudden, he comes up with a party, okay? A party that had been in existence. So the challenge comes here in that, how do we find the loopholes to tie him off that party so that it doesn't become the leader of that party? So that is the reason they are trying to bring in so many things about color. I think internationally, no one has a right to color. I need to research so much about that.
Well, that takes us back to what the Constitution says about it, the Constitution of Uganda. If they say one has a planet or has a right to a certain color, then maybe that has to be respected. So,
but there are also international rights and belonging. I leave that aside. But the truth is, NRM is going to put so many people to make sure this is disorganized. Like the elders that are saying they belong to that party and they were not informed. There was no delegate conference held prior to making Bobby Wine the leader. All that are coming as a result of fear from the NRM. They are making sure that that does not come up. But I know by law, or NUP also has lawyers, and they are now studying all this because I guess they have already said that these elders who are claiming that they own the party even do not have party cards. But by then, were there party cards? You know. They are also not in the register. By then when NURP came into existence, was there a book for registration or no? Right. Was it that outside the jurisdictions of law for them to register or no? So there are so many questions in there, and there are going to be legal gymnastics between the people who are making it fail and those ones who want it to grow.
Nordin, yeah, when you look at, it's kind of the same question that I asked Dennis. People Power, one may say it's now the mother of NUP, but it's in actual sense, the mother, somebody else would put it that way. When you look at all the drama that is going on within this organization now, do you think they have the potential to bring the fruits out of whatever that's going on come 2021?
David, it's quite very interesting. People should learn the dynamics of politics, as I've mentioned it. Here is a situation that we have been having political parties that were intended to fight colonialism. And actually, the intentions of political parties like Democratic Party, UPC, and the other ones had an intention of fighting against colonialism at that time. Now the test of the time comes up that there are a lot of challenges. The people look at those political parties and as not good vehicles that are transferring them to where they want. And imagine the situation that we have today is that we have 85% of the population under the age of 35. And this, what does this mean? These are what we call the generational dynamics. In this regard, the people that are now ready to vote are totally out of touch of what was happening at the time of independence. And therefore, their thinking is totally different from what the ideologies of UPC and DPs are on. And so I would add on even NRM, because if you look at most of the issues that are talked about by NRM party, those issues that came up at the time of liberation. And a person of 30 years does not know what happened in 1986. And therefore, they cannot easily understand what was happening and all the ideologies of those parties. Therefore, that's why you're seeing that when people power came up, it was majority of the youths. The youths came up, the youths were enlightened, the youths were sensitized about the need to know what is happening within their country. And here they come up. And the coming up of Kyagulanyi has been a very big challenge to many of us, especially the elites. People are thinking that this is something that has come up that is going to destroy a country in terms of undermining the elite group and all that. But the good things are coming out. A lot of things are unveiling. These are elites of another generation.
You were talking about the Richards, the Dennises, the elites who never believed in Honorable Kyagulanyi's country.
Actually, myself as well. I didn't believe in him at first. But the way things are unveiling, you tend to be very, very dialectical about what is happening. Here is a situation. The NRM at first never thought it was a threat. The ruling party never thought it was a threat. When see things coming out now, they realize that this guy has numbers and has the youths. And the youths are so determined to fight for their rights. Now they put all the roadblocks that they can so that they can deter him from getting the legal direction of going to the ballot box. Here comes a situation that all the roadblocks are being now overrun by him. Right. And that's why you are seeing a lot of other things coming up. But all these are simple political. I mean, it's like if you're working I always take it in the side of business because I'm a business analyst. Right. That if you start a business, you have a business which is running very well, and you get a lot of competition from young or upcoming companies. Of course, you put all the possible means to make sure that you suffocate the other company which is coming up. So it is. That's the similitude I would give to
what is happening in
the UK. Okay. Therefore, all these attempts, I think, are signs of because you cannot fight something which is not very, very, very strong, which is not coming so fast. So they're coming so fast. That rapid kind of growth of NUP is really threatening big political parties, and that's why they are doing all that. But I think with the time, most of these things are going to fade out as we go to because you see what happened to the color issue. The color issue has now faded. Yep. Now they are bringing in the issue of the legality. Yes, the founding members. And actually, I was listening to the other guy, is it Chibalama, the way he was saying, and he challenged those people that were putting a petition that if, in case they were members, because members, if as they claim, they say they were party leaders. Party leaders are all gazetted in the Electoral Commission. Right. So the Electoral Commission has all the gazetted leaders of NUP or the other party before NUP.
So in other words, you're saying this is just a confusion
to pull down. Kind of a way that people are being it's a diversionary kind of act.
All right.
So yeah, that's the government is trying to make a diversionary so that people can, put their attention to all these other issues other than the promotion of the party. Thank you.
So, Richard, I'm going to bring you down too, but let me start with the issue of yesterday we saw Andrew Mwenda coming up to pick nomination picking up nomination forms, and at the same time, he's now a member of NUP, and he has a right. He's a Ugandan, and just like any organization that once you have interest in an organization, they'll always welcome you. They did. First of all, let's look at the history of how it started. First, he was kind of like challenging them that I'm going there and I'm expecting these people to fight me, beat me, or even kill me. That did not happen. At least on record, Andrew Mwenda left NUP offices free and happy that he's now a member of NUP. However, he has it. He's going to stand as a president against Bobby Wine during their and normally people call it the red time where people compete for the position of presidency. Now, Richard, I want to ask you this question. Do you think Andrew Mwenda's move is an addition to the democracy of NUP?
No, let me say openly, because when I first came in studio, I said that what we need now is a prayer of good weather. Like my good friend Patton said, because the way these people are pushing people in the country. Andrew Mwenda, for the record, I like Rwandan people. I like the Rwandan men, I like the Rwandan women, like the Eddie Kenzos. No one has oppressed who in Uganda. But if Andrew Mwenda comes out to the tears and crying and the liberation mood that is in the country, and comes, because he has another citizenship in Rwanda, and comes out to provoke people, no. He's
a citizen of Uganda. He's a citizen of Uganda.
The reason why he's doing this, the reason why he's doing this is that because he has another citizenship in Rwanda. We don't say that we don't like Rwandan. No, all our women are Rwandan. All our children are half a half. We all like Rwandan people. But you cannot, on the tears and the cry that is in the country and the mood of the liberation, you cannot come and provoke people to liberate themselves. Where are you pushing the country? Let me give you an example. I saw Jamil Mukulu for the first time cry in the docks of the... He was a very strong rebel in the country, fighting for the change of government in the country. And he cried and said, I want you, my lawyer, to take my children and my wife to register for NUP because it's only Honorable Chagwan that is going to liberate this country. Now, if these people are stopping Honorable Chagwan from liberating the country legally about paper, and Mugisha Muntu is openly being allowed and escorted to do whatever he's doing openly, and you deny a Muganda right to contest for the leadership of the country with the majority of the people behind him, where are you pushing the country? Where you're pushing the country, let me give you an example. Just all over, the South African guy, I always read about these people. He said that the reason why we started talking, the South African government started talking to us, the ANC, was because we used the gun, we used the AK-47, and we were able to come to the same terms on the table and we discussed the politics of the country on equal footage. If they push the country to that level, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be bloodshed, which I don't like. But if they push the country to that level, you are going to see what is going to happen in the country.
David, I would love to chip in a little bit.
Sure.
You know, the problem with my brother Richard is that he's driving us to another direction of tribalism.
It's not tribalism.
I want you to listen
every person in Uganda has the right to exist.
No
one has to oppress anyone.
So does Andrew Mwenda registering for NUP?
No, he comes in to provoke people the way the country is a rotten country. The country needs a new deal. Honorable Chagonya has come out and said, I'm going to reconstruct the country. And you're coming in to provoke people. What do you want?
Richard, I would like you to listen to me because I
Yes, I'm going to listen to you.
The situation that we're having in Uganda doesn't matter which tribe you're talking about. Because if you look at all the situations, yes, I believe there is sectarianism. Actually, even the other time I told you, what we have in Uganda is not tribalism. It is sectarianism. Why? If it was two tribes, one is taking all the resources and another tribe is not, all three tribes are not doing that, then that would be different. But it's just a clique of people, which is sectarianism. Then, when you talk about Mwenda, Mwenda is a Ugandan who has a right to go to NUP. And actually, I was so excited and happy about what happened with people with the NUP administration, that they welcomed him. They didn't show anything. But, you know, some of these things are just psychological warfare.
Yeah, but the most important part of that story is Mwenda claiming that he's going to stand against Bobby Wine for the NUP flagship. What does that represent to the history of Uganda, but also to NUP?
But again, NUP has its policies and ideologies. It has plans. I mean, political timetable. So you cannot think that he's going there is going to change anything. A lot of NUP's programs. NUP has a program. If Mwenda goes there and they have already elected their flag bearer, they're not going to go back and and vote. So right. This is just a kind of...
Let me cross-examine him one time. I want you to look at the history of Mugisha Muntu. Mugisha Muntu openly comes out and says he's going to start consultation. There was no roadblock there. No. Let me finish. Yeah. There was no roadblock. Mugisha Muntu registered as a party, no roadblock. Mugisha starts buying $1 billion Ugandan shillings from the stronghold of FDC and facilitation in campaign, no problem. He's going around the country, no problem. Even this morning, Honorable Chagwin was not allowed to go to Mbale for a talk show. And you think that is not tribalism? And you think that these people are trying to give the leadership to another person where no one is allowed to contest for leadership from Buganda?
Right, so,
are we slaves?
No, all right. So
we have the right to exist in our own country. We shall fight and we shall overcome.
Then someone bring you in.
I think we need to we need to clarify a little bit.
Right.
That there is a difference between someone wanting to contest and someone who is really ready and willing to contest. For Andrew Mwenda disorganized. He did not disorganize, but he preached against the person of Dr. Kizza Besigye from a long time ago. His preference was Mugisha Muntu. You see, this government does not want anyone who gives them headache. That you must know. We have been having Mugisha Muntu at the helm of leadership for some time, but he has not given President Museveni headache. And President Museveni, in return, does not give him headache.
Yeah, because Mugisha Muntu is playing what some people call smart politics.
That is not smart.
You don't create violence. You just play diplomatically. So that's what he's trying to do.
That is not diplomatic. That is playing law. In a country like Uganda, you cannot play law and win. Well, we can take this to the bank. If you play law in this country, you will never win. The people power guys used to say that they do not want our way of doing things violently. They are now doing it more violent than we are. Because even when they have refused them to go somewhere, like for talk shows, they will still go. Now that is what we had been preaching before, that let's use defiance. Defiance will help us go through this kind of dictatorship. So I am happy they are together with us in defiance. Now, Mugisha Muntu is paid. He was paid in Rwanda. Andrew Mwenda was in the government payroll in Rwanda and also same time government payroll in Uganda. What is he doing? His major role is to spy, confuse, distort the political arrangements that are here in Uganda. He has gone there purposely for that job, to make sure that NUP does not only bring Kyagulanyi as a sole candidate, but I'm telling you, he's going to find it rough.
That's what democracy calls for. Let's get facts straight. Get facts straight.
I understand.
The problem that is happening in NRM today is sole candidature. And everyone agrees with that. And so that's what is coming. That's why it's coming in NUP, to bring about the democracy that NUP stands for.
I'm not a spokesperson of NUP, but what I know under our policy in FDC, for us, people have to go for primaries for presidential flag bearership, which we are waiting for up to now. Even if you ask me now, who is going to be your leader, I still don't know. Lubuurwa has just come on board. Others are already there. I don't know who may be elected as a flag bearer. But for NUP, if their intention was to elect Bobi Wine as a sole candidate, which has not yet come out, it has not been gazetted anywhere, then Andrew Mwenda is just rushing there for, to make a name. He had been off the newspaper, so he wanted to be back on the newspaper. Right. We defeated him from FDC. He left us, by the way. He forgot us. Because when Mugisha Muntu went and made this party and it's almost dead, he kept quiet. So we are still moving. So leave that aside. There are such people even in our government, even in FDC. We have Nabila Nagai. She's there. She wants to contest for mayorship because the government or the people in NRM have told him, go and confuse Lukwago. So her major motive was to come and confuse Lukwago.
Well, the thing is, now you bring about Lukwago, Dr. Besigye. It's great, and I appreciate it because you're a member of FDC.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. Yesterday, no, a couple of days ago, Dr. Besigye was on NTV and had a very fruitful interview. I watched all of it.
Yep.
And he was asked whether he was going to stand as a president. And he gave a very invalid answer. He was asked, the answer was very straight away, yes or no. And he didn't even get close to answering
He gave
the
back
question.
a smart answer. It wasn't invalid.
Which was invalid. Politically correct, but in actual sense, it was wrong. But I'm not going to speak on behalf of Dr. Besigye, and I don't think you're going to do the same.
Yes.
But let's look at this. He praised Elias Lukwago as a very potential great person who can be a good president for the country. Do you think Elias Lukwago is going to represent FDC now that he's a member?
You cannot have a family and fail to identify a hair in case you are nowhere to be seen. He was just identifying someone who is brilliant, who can take after his shoes. But he did not say he's the one who is going to be the president. So for him not answering the question right directly, I think that was just being smart. Right now, we need a liberation. We do not need a presidency. We need a liberation. Who is that person who is going to stand up and make Uganda be liberated again? So that after liberation, we can go into elective politics and choose the leader rightly without fear or favor or favoritism.
Dennis, you and your leader kind of like saying that what Honorable Robert Chagulanyi is doing is just wasting time because he and his party, they are looking at taking off President Museveni. And you as FDC, you're saying, well, that's not what we want. We just need freedom. How are you going to get freedom when the president is still the same?
We have tried elective politics under Besigye now for 4 years. But let me give you a sneak peek a little bit. In the central, people power really has support, and that is true. But I come from the village, especially my village of Kalaki. Let me say it. Right. I'm not defaming the person of Honorable Chagulanyi or NUP. I really want them to win. But they have been curtailed. They can no longer move to even do any advert in northern Uganda or eastern Uganda or down in western Uganda. How will a voter from western Uganda know that Honorable Chagulanyi exists? If you look at the percentage there, you'll find out that, if you carry out that survey, you'll find out that Honorable Chagulanyi could trail behind because the government has made sure that it does not go anywhere. You cannot pretend to love a girl, yet you cannot go and ask for her hand, maybe go for dinner or something. You need to be visiting. That today, let's go for a tour. Tomorrow, let's go have lunch. That is when the girl can really get to know you. But Honorable Chagulanyi has not been visiting these villages. How do you expect him to get the percentage more than that of Dr. Besigye? That is a lie.
But yeah, I mean, I understand that. But Dr. Besigye's statement clearly shows that, one, he's not even willing to support Honorable Chagulanyi's ideas. If he comes up to say that, well, we don't need to change the presidency, we need to take back the country, how are you going to take, I've asked the same question again. How are you going to take the country back if you don't look at the man in the highest
We
office
need to unite. Unity is one factor that will bring us back together. I'm telling you, in Kenya has so many political parties, but if it comes towards election, all those political parties come together. The ODM will bring all those other positions and they will rally under the ODM. I guess not until Raila Amolo Odinga is dead, no any other person is going to come and do what? And stand under the docket of oppositionship. So when we look at this, unity is very important. NUP and Uhuru Kenyatta also came together during the election of 2017, I guess.
Right.
So all this comes about unity. Without unity, we can't get it. But if Honorable Chagulanyi only wants to be the president and does not want to hear the side of Besigye, then Besigye also does not want to hear the side of Honorable Chagulanyi. And those are two different angles that won't work.
And that's what people are saying today.
We are crying.
That's what the public is saying today. Dr. Besigye says a different story. Honorable Chagulanyi says a different story. And you, as opposition politicians, before I bring in Nurdin, you say we were fighting for unity. We are talking behind closed doors. What does that show to the public? Are you lying to the public that you're doing something behind it? Yes.
I am not Honorable Semujunganda, the spokesperson of FDC, but what I am private to is there are communications going behind the back door. But before the communication is finalized, there are challenges that have to be settled. If you are doing a unity party towards election, you don't do it a year early. They will distort you all. It is usually done within 3 months before election. So I believe come around 2021, if you're left with 2 months, there will be a unity kind of action in that country. So let's give it a benefit of doubt that they are talking and it will come true. And for us who are outside here, let's stop instigating, let's stop defaming, because we are defaming a lot. You find this bracket under social media is abusing Dr. Besigye. The other side is abusing Honorable Kyagulanyi. How do you expect us to go straight forward if we cannot understand? Let's remove
maybe
this.
It could be, maybe because your leaders have failed to come out to put straight what is happening in their camps.
It is not
that could
very
be the reason,
easy.
because they have to defend, they have to come up and say,
It is not very easy to be a leader in such a context where you had a party with the constitution, with the rules and the regulations. You cannot come up with your own answer and say, okay, let Dr. Besigye be the president, then Honorable Kyagulanyi be the deputy, or deputy with the power, so almost equal. It is a process that is being done. So for this matter, my prayer and my request to the bloggers, to the people who are on social media, let's tone down. Because if we do not tone down, this country is not going to be liberated, whether we like it or not. Even if we front Kyagulanyi now, without the support of the FDC, there is no way he's going to go through. The same goes to the side of the NUP. If they do not respect the person of Dr. Besigye and the team, I'm not saying Dr. Besigye is contesting, but he's one of the icons we see, we look to in FDC. There are many, but we look into them. Let's stop this abusive politics and we win together. That is what I'm doing in Kalaki. I have tried to bring the NRM towards me. I have made them know that I am your child, you're my brother. Why do we fight yet all our blood is red? Let those ones fight from up there, but for us here, let's make it a unity factor so that we grow our district. And that is why I have a lot of support, because I've showed them that I'm not against you. I am going to work for you, and we shall work together and win together. And that is why I have a lot of support, even from the opposition, who is the NRM. Right. So that is what we need to see going forward.
Nudin.
Yeah, what people have to know is that Uganda is under siege. Uganda is under occupation. The occupation, which is political, social, and economic. I would use a similitude of a house on fire. In where a situation whereby you have children in your house and the house is on fire, what would you do? Would you start right on and then extinguish fire, or you would first remove children or whatever? So the means and the approach matters in this situation. The situation that we have in Uganda deserves to have a direction of operation. In that situation, we need to remove the occupation first. How are you removing the occupation? The occupation is by President Museveni. President Museveni, if you want to reorganize the structures, organize the system, organize the institutions, the problem is the president.
So you are saying what Dr. Besigye is saying is wrong, and
I negate what Dr. Besigye is saying, because you cannot develop structures, you cannot develop anything when you are under siege, when you are under occupation.
Right.
And in this regard, I'm seeing a situation whereby we need somebody who is very activist, very, very aggressive, very, very appealing. I don't mind whether that person is from the West or East or the Central, but somebody who's appealing to the whole population, somebody who has the guts to stand in front of the president, whether on a debate or on a radio station, and say enough is enough. Now, when you have around 3 people that are ready to fight to do that, when you make a cross-examination, or what we call a surgical analysis of those 3 people, for example, if you have Besigye, if you have Kyagulanyi, and you have possibly Mugisha Muntu, or anybody else, or Mau, one, look at factors, the generation, that's the demographic factor. When you look at age, look at the region that person comes from, look at the other factors, like the social factors. When you look at Kyagulanyi has 3 comparative advantages. 1, the youth. He's a youth, the age. 2, the sector he comes from. That is the music industry.
Exactly.
He appeals to a lot of people.
But yeah.
Number 3, he has a section of, when we go to the religious angle, the Catholics are the majority in Uganda. I wouldn't say the majority, but it's the biggest portion of religion, right? So in this regard, and possibly the 4th one is the region where he comes from. When you make a very good analysis of the polling dynamics, you find out that the Buganda as a region has 45% of the polling of the voting population. Now, just look at a situation whereby if Kyagulanyi can pull maybe 80% of Buganda votes. And according to the polls that Dr. Wakida made, he was showing that Bobi Wine has a lot of support in Busoga region and Buganda region.
So you have northern part and you have the western part.
But if you compare the population, when it comes to population, those 2 regions, Busoga and Buganda region, can surpass the summation of all the other ones. Therefore, the strategic analysis of the politics of Uganda and the dynamism that is surrounding the politics, there is the need to have those 4 or 5 people that want to stand for presidency and sit down. I'm not seeing anybody who is making that move.
Well, yeah, so, you know, you mentioned about the musicians, but I'm going to bring that back.
Yes.
When you talk about you don't see these politicians making this move, I think people will look at everyone wants to be the boss. Honorable Kyagulanyi is looking at the top office. Dr. Besigye, he's not clear. But he's also looking at his strategy, that his strategy should be
He's just being strategic.
fronted.
It's not clear. I mean, it's not being clear, but just being strategic.
Then we have Mugisha Muntu. Mugisha Muntu also believes that his strategy must be followed. So all these individuals, their egos tell them that, you know what, I must be the boss. So do you really see anywhere that these guys will come together and form a single unit to take on President Museveni?
Yeah, there is.
You see that coming?
The other time I told you that these people are just being strategic. These parties are just being strategic. Trust me, I have contacts. I've talked to people of FDC. I mean, not FDC, ANT. The people of ANT have already, according to what I have known, they have already made a kind of move. They're just trying to bring out a situation whereby they have a presidential candidate who will stand on a negotiation table. And so I think is FDC trying to do. Like, that's the move. That's the reason why even NUP was established.
We saw this in the previous elections when Amon Mbabazi came up with a number of other colleagues and their system did not work because at the end of the day, towards the elections, Dr. Besigye pulled out and the other political players started pulling out. So don't you think that's what is going to happen? I want to bring in Richard, but Dennis, would you like to respond to that?
I wanted to make the country know that we only now have 2 popular political parties. There is FDC and there is NUP. I'm talking about NUP because NUP has almost grabbed every member from DP. DP used to be very strong. But if you look at all the membership now and all the love of the people from the central, they are all skewed towards NUP, where Honorable Kyagulanyi is.
So you're trying to mean it's the new DP?
So yeah, DP is almost gone. It's almost gone. Just some few. If they don't change the leadership, it will be gone. If Mao doesn't leave it, it's gone. So I'm just telling you that there are only 2 opposition political parties. That is FDC and NUP. If they don't unite, then there is nothing else. These ones for Basa Alirwa and ANT, it's just a handful of people. It's, you know, it's a paperwork. So we are only working hard to make sure that these 2 unite. You were trying to ask whether there are talks going on. I already told you there are talks going on. But with a coalition, you don't coalesce early. You know, when you do that, they will disorganize your coalition and they'll break it towards the election and you'll have nowhere to go to. So they are just being very strategic that within a few months to election, the coalition deal will be struck. So watch me.
So let's, my land friend here talked about the problem of the country. Today the problem of the country, I'm just going to quote Museveni because I always quote him from his own mouth on record. He said when he was in Mozambique fighting, he brought in the idea of the IGG to fight corruption. All along we have been saying until Honorable Chagwan came in to enlighten the country that Mr. Museveni with his NRM made his own constitution and brought the government and the people of Uganda to the downfall where it is today. And now, this week when he was launching his corruption campaign on social media, he said that the problem why there's so much corruption, I thought I'd bring in because I saw the system working in Mozambique where I was learning, and I brought it to Uganda. That means he made his own constitution. Then, the other thing he said about now is Nakalema is the one that is going to fight corruption. In the new deal that Honorable Chagwan is telling to the people of Uganda is this, that the issue of corruption is first of all, small government, self-government. The people of Teso, with a government that our land defense is the governor that can have accountability on the billions of US dollars in revenues and the share of the oil and these lake revenues that are going to come direct to his government. The second thing, the small government must have accountability. It's easy to account for someone. We come and check the books. The third thing is checks and balance, like in America. I've talked to someone from the northern Uganda, from Guru Chitigum. He said that all they want is the exact system of America, where there's checks and balance, where the NRM does not control the resources and its people and the army. The third thing is, I've finished accountability. I'm talking about the new constitution, the new deal that Honorable Chagwan is going to give to the country. And lastly, let's tell these people in Uganda, if they are listening to us tonight, that we are in the international political wing. We are not sleeping. We are watching what is going on in the country. They are not going to manipulate the system this time like they have been doing. When they bring in the Mugisha Moon to take off the leadership of the country from Museveni when it's failing, we shall interject.
All right.
We shall interject, we shall counterbalance, we shall defeat them, and Uganda shall go into a new election. We are not sleeping.
All right. So let's finish, guys. I want us to wrap up with the issue of. I wanted us to look into the issue of musicians in the people power industry, or the people power or NUP wing. We are looking at guys like Eddie Kenzo. We're looking at other musicians who have left the organization or have stood against the organization. But at the same time, we are looking at a number of other musicians who are joining NUP, the Mayinjas and others. What do you make of that? What do you make of the political system that is going to run 2021? Because some of these colleagues, these people who are joining NUP, we are once great supporters of NRM. They used to sing for NRM. Do you think musicians joining NRM joining NUP will create a greater impact against NRM?
I think before I go there, I want to reiterate what he said.
Right.
Uganda is under siege. Whether you are as bright as what, you are under dictatorship and oppression. If you don't fight it, you will not get out. You can't get it on a silver platter. I'm just repeating that so that Uganda gets to know. That is what Dr. Besigye always keeps saying, that if we don't fight to liberate ourselves out of this siege, we are not getting out. I hope the NUP friends know about that. Now, he was talking about federalism. You're talking about federalism.
Yes, self-government.
Of those, we have about 160 plus districts, if I am not.
They've just added more.
They are adding more and more. We don't have fundings for this district. What I am expecting, if your leader comes in, he should have redrawn the districts back to their normal district and maybe divide them into Western County, Eastern County, Northern County, into counties. Okay, so that probably management becomes easier. But if we go under this district, my district is called Kalaki. Do you know what is there? It is a village. There is, I don't want to go there.
First take me there a little bit. I want to know a little bit.
There are no roads that could bring any development to the country. There are no opportunities where we could get taxes from, like, let's say, schools? Markets. There are no schools. Even the lake is now owned by somebody. We are not allowed to go there. We don't have social services around, and you call that a district? How are you going to grow?
Let me ask you a question. Who owns the lake?
Of course, the government is owning everything. Now, for you to go and start fishing, you have to go through several processes. I hear, get stamp here, get another stamp there, before you go to the water. In fact, they opened it, but no one is going there because the access is controlled. It is someone who is now benefiting out of that. You started drilling oil from almost about 10 years ago.
Right.
Have you seen a drop of a barrel? How?
Yes, they're taking oil out of the country.
Yes, but we have
Look
not
at
seen it as a
It's
country.
not evident.
Yes, it's
No,
not
it's
evident.
there. It's there on export. You go and check the records of
What
export.
we are saying-
Uganda
I
is 91.
I saw it there.
91
Yes, what I'm
export of
saying.
oil on the.
What I'm saying.
But Uganda is
it
not
is
benefiting.
there, but who are the beneficiaries?
That is what I'm saying.
That's
Yeah, they
another
gave it to
question.
Museveni's son. That's what we are fighting to bring back. That's what people power and Honorable Chagwanyi is fighting to bring back to the treasury
That's,
on open
that's
table.
why I'm telling you, you
Right.
are under siege. Fight to get out of that siege, not
So-
through easy on an easy
Take me
platter.
back to the issue of musicians.
I
think
take
today-
it back to Eddie
there was,
Kenzo.
yeah, there was a leaked audio of Eddie Kenzo trashing Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi.
For sure, I did not listen to the audio, but I read a lot about people's comments and what the audio was saying, but I didn't listen to it. So I think, let me comment on this like this reservedly. If Eddie Kenzo is the one that aired out all this, then know that he's trying to fight in a higher notch, like how Ashbag Kato got it. He's enjoying all the privileges, but he's not happy, he's not sleeping. Because people are dying this side for you, are enjoying the other side, and you're fighting against the people who are dying. So musicians joining
NUP and others joining
is
NUP.
very important. We also need a lot of them in FDC, because the liberation of the apartheid regime happened through such people. The musicians, the artists, were very vocal during the time of liberation of the apartheid in South Africa. So come here. The only challenge we have is that we love money so much in Uganda, so that even if the president or if NRM identifies you as a vocal person on the other side, they will give you something kitu kidogo chini, even if you get money like how Eddie Kenzo gets. Because I believe, according to my own instincts, that Eddie Kenzo was given money. And if he's given money, he's now trying to pay for the money he was given. Yet he probably makes much more money than how much the government gave him. The government stopped Honorable Kyagulanyi from singing. Is he not surviving? He's surviving. The only problem we have is weaknesses of individuals here in Uganda. Wait for those artists who have joined. They joined there in broad daylight so that the government can see that we officially
Part of
joined,
NUP,
joined
right.
NUP. So buy us from here. And they are going to buy them. They are going to buy them with cars. I see the Kusasiras have cars, the full figures have
But,
cars.
you know, but,
our taxpayers' money.
These are citizens of Uganda who also deserve to belong where they want, and they have a right to sing for the president, regardless of whether they belong to some
That is
political
why
party.
I did not complain about the 400 million that was given to the musicians during the Tubonga Nawe. That was making money.
Yeah,
That
they
was
have a right. They have
yes.
yeah.
It is different from the government picking you from the other side and bringing you this way. That is crisscrossing of the political roads. Transferring from here to there because of ABCD. Others are being bought with taxpayers' money, unfortunately, because State House receives non-accountable funds for growth and development of State House and operations. So that is what annoys us. That taxpayers' money is supposed to buy drugs. That taxpayers' money is supposed to go to Kalaki to construct a road. We don't have a road. We don't have no ambulance. In fact, my car usually takes people to hospitals, far hospitals. Every day almost people are coming. We need to go to this hospital. We don't have money. I put my own fuel and drive someone 400 kilometers to the hospital. During the time of COVID, vehicles were not allowed. My car was working left, right, center. We don't have an ambulance. And you give us a district?
I'm going to come back
That
to
doesn't
you.
work.
We have a lot to discuss regarding Kalaki County, where you're going to represent. And,
Yes.
and first of all, before even we come back, I wish you success in your
Thank
endeavor.
you.
Probably I'll join your campaigning team.
Welcome.
But guys, let's get back to the issue of musicians. Just
For
within
me,
a second, right?
there is a very big problem. Kenzo is acting against his conscience. You know, there is what we call the conscience and the egg. The conscience tells you what is right and what is wrong. The egg decides to push you to a direction where you feel you'll get superior. Now he's fighting against his conscience. Remember before he said he was not going to campaign. After coming back from the US, he said he wasn't campaigning for Bobby Wine.
In a political position, right?
Yeah, and then after having all the hassles that he went through, people were renegating him and all that, when he goes to Ivory Coast, he says, as he was about to come back from Ivory Coast, he says, he made a mistake to say that he was not campaigning for his brother Bobby Wine. And finally, the government made all the possible ways to make sure that he was brought back to Uganda. And then when he arrives, he says he's not a politician and he's not ready to join in the political scenes because,
Right.
he thinks that it's not part of his job. Now, here's a situation that he comes up and he said, actually, I've seen a clip where he was saying that I wouldn't be where I am if it was not Bobby Wine.
Yeah, but in the latest audio that was leaked.
Then yes, I heard I listened to everything in the audio, and I know with the content. He was trying to negate what Bobby Wine has done for him and all that. But I think this is just a psychological fight that the government is trying to push into some of these people. As my brother said, he was given, some of these people are given money. And actually, something very funny, for us who studied sociology, we see that they're all reading from the same script. When you see the words they are using, they're almost the same words that the whatever, the other, like Bobby Cool and Bobby, who are against Bobby Wine are saying. They are saying the same thing. Therefore, I think some of these things are coming up as a diversionary. You see, when they see people so much focused, they bring in some other things to bring in, to disorganize the camp. And those are some good ways of fighting by the NRM. Remember where before we went for the lockdown, he was organizing a very big concert.
Right.
All these were just diversionary acts that the government tries to push in so that they can be able to, disorganize the camp. These are the techniques of politics. Politics is about disorganizing your enemy, and then it's like football. They all have skills, but he who does the skills best, or who takes the opportunity, wins the game.
Yeah, right.
So that's what they are on now.
All right, sure. So, Richard, I'm bringing the same topic.
Yeah.
Musicians are now fighting against each other in the same
they
camp.
are
These were close friends. They work in the same industry.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing today is now their supporters are actually fighting against each other. The musicians are fighting against each other, but they're almost in the same camp. They call themselves the oppressed.
Now, there are two musicians here, and I'm going to use an expression that I don't want to, but I'll just borrow it from someone. In 1933, when Adolf Hitler was taking power, there were issues like that you saw on the ground, provocation of people. Because these musicians, some of them are provoking the Ugandans. And as soon as Adolf Hitler took power, there's that famous, the long knife. I don't think you have ever heard that term, which was very bad. In one night, they eliminated all the opponents that were provoking them into the country because the people were fed up with the status quo that was in Germany. Now you are looking at Ronald Mayinja, and then you are looking at Kenzo. If Kenzo thinks that Uganda is his home, he better watch his out. I'm on record. I will not break it. Ronald Mayinja, he sees that at the end of the day, the long knife is going to catch him. Because all these people, the long knife is going to catch them, the Kusasla, the so many people. Because the Ugandan people have seen what happened to Idi Amin's people, have seen what Obote people were done to it, and I think it's going to happen to the NRM. So, the other issue, issue I'm just talking to is this of Clark County. The people on the ground must know that this people power is not an ordinary government that is coming into leadership. It's a revolution that is going to change things on the ground. Self-government that will do your own roads, okay? Hospitals, you build your own hospitals. Everything, land reforms, everything.
Right.
Against them 7 things that he has done wrong to the people.
So
Job creation.
Guys, I'm running out of time. I've just been informed right now. But let's finish up with the issue of Abdallah Chitata. Now, I just want to go straight to tell the public. Abdallah Chitata was arrested during the time General Kaihura was also arrested and also removed from office. But according to our sources, Abdallah Chitata was not just arrested because of normal cases that he had guns. No, there was a coup taking place in the city of Kampala. During that time, a lot of money was spread within the city, so many guns that up to today, according to sources from the security organizations in Uganda, say guns are still missing. So today, he has been released just because his superior or his boss was reappointed by the president. Now, all these are facts that are going on that many Ugandans never considered or never even traced or even thought of, that there was a coup to take over the government of President Museveni. According to our researchers and resources, they say that during that time, President Museveni said, "We know who you are, and you should stop killing our people." The likes of Mohammed Chilumina were killed in such scenarios, the likes of Andrew Felix Kawesi, and other Muslims who were killed during that period. The question that now stands, and I want to ask you guys, whether the problem was solved, or Abdallah Chitata's release is just a way of saying that, well, we respect people's rights and he deserves to be back in the community. Or the government thinks this is the right time for Abdallah Chitata to come back and continue with his operation, not this time as against the government through a coup, but helping the government to suppress those who are opposing it now that we're getting to elections. Guys, your final statement.
I think this government is full of cabals. This government sees ahead of what other people are seeing. Now, if Kaihura can be reappointed with all those allegations that were planted against him, then I know we have no future in this country. Totally, there is no future. Chitata is right to come out of prison because he was not imprisoned for life. He was sentenced for a certain period of time, of which if the period expires by law, you're supposed to be released, unless there is another case against you, they can take you back. And I know there are so many cases against him.
141.
Yes. So by this time, he would have already been arrested and back to jail again, waiting a court hearing. But because these cabals deal together and they work together to create wealth in their own families, this nepotism, which is too high, makes these people to come out easily. And they will go back to the field and start working for the government. Leave that aside. What do we have to do? We are under siege. I add that again.
Right.
We cannot get it easily, not until we get it hardly.
All right, sure. Nurdin, what do you make
so
of
I think the allegation that Kaihura is redeployed is fake.
He's now, for the fact, he's now
came,
one of the advisors of the president.
He
For
came,
the fact.
Advisor?
Yeah, one of the advisors
because
of the president.
Because the other issue that was the director of intelligence. He came out boldly and then he negated the...
He's an advisor.
Yes, leave all aside. I think the government is trying to see how it survives. You know, these were very great cadres of the movement. Kaihura was working seriously for the government. And actually, he played a very big role for the existence of the government. And so was Chitata. In this regard, I would think that they had some issues with them and then they punished them, and now they are bringing them back to work for them. So as you know, when time comes for election, the president needs a lot. Actually, you remember the other time even wanted Babas to come back, but Babas was very hesitant and he never wanted to come back in the system. So he's now pulling back everybody that he thinks can help him to win. You saw what happened to the rebel MPs. They were all brought back, apart from those that resisted, like the Nsamba and all the rest. So he's just trying to strategize, to strengthen himself, the president, to see that he is able to win the election. Then, actually, my last take is that there is need to establish because actually we haven't talked about the opinion polls. Possibly we shall talk of them next time. But to me, I would think the leaders of the leaders of the parties should go back or should find where Wakida is, and then they look at the analysis that was made. Because I was able to read into the analysis of the opinion polls, regardless of being 5 months down. But as a researcher, as I told you, I'm a student of PhD student. I do research and I know what numbers mean. So they need to go back and talk to those people, to Dr. Wakida, and they have a lot of things that they can learn from those. We need to find a way. We went to see a formidable kind of force that will be confronting the president, the ruling party. All right. And actually you see that there are a lot of people that I think even it is very strategic for NUP not to announce right now the flag bearers, because there are a lot of people that are going to defect from the NRM after the Kamyufu. So there's a lot of strategizing, and it needs to be very dynamic and very dimensional when it comes to what.
Richard, your final take. We have seen updated status release, and based on the information we have, the coup that was going to take place, that President Museveni was successfully suppressed the coup successfully by taking off all the top leaders in this coup. So at least for a fact, we know that according to our sources. So what do you make of State's new move?
Let me make just a statement. Let me tell you people that when you are drowning, no one has ever drowned without fighting. That's the fact. That's a fact. And I'm going to use another example of the Soviet Union, the Tsar of the Soviet Union. When the people rose up against him in the Bolshevik Revolution, of which Museveni is a student of socialism, he had to appoint even his enemies, even the people from the prison, he had to bring him to fight for him to survive. All these things that Museveni is trying to do when it's a people's revolution, it will fail. The people will prevail over the leadership of Mr. Museveni and his government and his constitution and his backwardness, nepotism, and everything. That's my last take.
Richard, I want to thank you guys. Guys, I want to thank you so much. But let me first get back to Dennis. I think I have a few questions, and I think based on the facts that you're going to stand as a candidate, I would have, again, one-on-one discussion on that issue. But what's your plan for Kalaki County? I know there are many Ugandans in that county, your area, that are willing to support you. What are you going to do different? I mean, you're not supposed to implement, you're supposed to send their ideas back to Parliament, but what are you going to do different that the current member of Parliament has not done?
You see, those village districts have only three things to deal with. One is agriculture. Two is health, Department of Health and Education. Those three are very important because we don't have industrialization. Even if they put industries there are no roads that a trailer can use to go and bring the material or the raw material which is there. So we have to concentrate on agriculture, education, and the health status of our people. If our people are healthy, they are able to go to the garden and get their products back to the market. If we have that, we are all sorted. Education, we have to ensure that we have quality education. All this can be done through supervision. I know the government is putting down some money for these sectors to be operational, but there is no follow-up. These monies are sent to the district, and people just eat them bare free. And the MP is just there sitting at the back bench, not even airing anything before the committees in Parliament. So if there is a lot of monetization supervision, all the things will come to pass. I talked about agriculture. We have a lot of land. No single tractor at the district. If we had only 2 tractors and we go to the community and say, make a group of 100 or 200 people, select 5 acres of land or 25 acres of land, we are going to plant for you soya beans only. At the end of the day, sell that soya bean. See how much you've gotten out like as an income. Distribute it between the 100 of you, right, or reinvest it into the market. Have such kind of agricultural input. We need fertilizers in place. Our land is sometimes dry, and we may need a lot of rain and fertilization. If we don't have this supplied by the government, how do we benefit? Yet other people are benefiting. We have free monies in terms of loans that are there available, but because of the inefficient leaders that cannot follow up to that, we cannot even get a single loan. Education loan is not there. These grant loans are not there. Women loans are. If we had all this in place, there would be development.
So you plan on implementing such?
Only 3 like this and everything will be covered. If industrialization comes later, because I was looking at growing cotton, if really agriculture would work well, and we say we are going to grow 4 square miles of cotton in Kalaki, 4 square miles, you know what that means? And we can have a ginnery implanted into the place. It will process the cotton. We export that cotton maybe into India. How much revenue would Kalaki get? Just as simple as that. But because the leadership is raw, these are people who do not even go and discuss in Parliament. They don't chair a caucus. They don't discuss between the plenary. They are just there to wait for money to sign to go home. How do we expect us to grow? We need to have read. We need to have traveled. We need to have land. All those come into consideration.
All right, Dennis, so I can't add anything, guys. I want to thank you so much, Richard, Noldin, and Dennis. To our viewers, we thank you so much for always watching our programs from our different platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and those who watch us live here from the United States of America. Now, normally I give a closing statement, and it's always in line with what we discuss here, and of course what we see happen in our country. Now, all of us have a dream that we need to see a better Uganda, Uganda with better roads, Uganda with better schools, Uganda with better resources. Now, the point is the country has the resources, but the leadership is not willing to put those resources at play. And that calls for you as a Ugandan, whether you're in the United Arab Emirates or United States or anywhere, to demand for what is right for you, to seek for what is right for you, and ask those government officials to do what they have to do right. It's their job. You vote for them. And I've always said here on this show, Uganda Crossroads, that much as you complain about the president, much as you complain about the other ministers, it's your responsibility as a voter to go out and vote for the person who is going to represent your interests. If you never do that, you will continue complaining and will never serve you. Remember, politicians in most cases are funded by corporations. So you say as a voter, at times it doesn't make sense. It's the big funders that will force the implementation of their projects. For now, have a great week. My name is David Lubuurwa, and thank you for always watching Uganda Crossroads. See you then, next Saturday, same time, same place.